are leaving Jordan and on our way to Cairo, Egypt.
Made it to Cairo, no problems. We're doing the first 10 days with a group tour, so they were able to pick us up at the airport, get us through immigration and all that jazz. Now we're just waiting for our luggage and we'll get to our hotel.
Good morning. We have made it to Egypt and we are starting our tour. So we're doing like a 7 or 8 day tour, and we are starting this morning with about the most atypical thing you can do in Cairo. We're going to the pyramids this morning, so looking forward to starting this.
We have different areas or different bridges named like some certain dates.
First stop today is the complex that was actually built by Imhotep, not the priest from Brendan Fraser's Mummy, but architect, a very famous architect with Chrissy backing up in the background for some reason. We entered through basically 40 pillars. There's 20 on each side, and the entrance was covered by these half-shape rocks, and what that represented was the papyrus trees that would basically cover normally the roofs of Egyptian houses of the time. So they recreated that at the entrance of the tomb here. Very beautiful complex, 4,000 plus years old. Pretty amazing to see in person. This is a funeral complex for King Unas. You'll find a tomb in there along with a lot of inscriptions in hieroglyphics. And what was also really cool to see was that there is actually indentation of statues on the wall when light was hitting it a certain way. So the gentleman that was down there showed us what that looked like.
Now we were able to enter the tomb of a princess, so not a pharaoh, so there's not as much religious things in here. By the tomb there's religious things, but here it's more of your regular life, so farming, fishing, cattle.
And they used 2.3 million blocks of limestone.
We have made it to the Great Pyramid.
But for today was a papyrus gallery where we got a demonstration on how they made papyrus way back when and how they still do it today.
Papyrus paper.
Papyrus paper. And there were a lot of really pretty art and a lot of people trying to convince you to buy it. And so we're sitting out on the steps while we're waiting for the rest of our group.
Good morning. This is day basically 2 of our Egypt tour. We are on our way to Aswan this morning via flight. There was supposed to be a train to take us, but there was some issues apparently here in Egypt for the train system, so they just, better safe than sorry, just stuck us on planes basically to Aswan and from another city later on. So yeah, looking forward to this leg of the journey. Have made it to Aswan and have gone directly to the Philae Temples. Everything is just so smooth. So good.
What is consistently stunning Mike and I about being in Egypt is that everything is chiseled out. These chisel marks are so incredibly detailed. 2,300 years these have lasted and we're still seeing them today. It's such detailed, amazing work, and we're surprised every time we see it. All right, this evening we have opted to do a dinner at a Nubian village with a Nubian family, so that'll be fun.
Red.
All right, it's early. How early is it? It's about 4:30. We had a 3.5-hour bus ride this morning to get to where we're going, and then 3.5 hours back. So hopefully we can sleep on the bus.
After getting up quite early this morning to leave our hotel at 4:30, we have made it to Abu Simbel. So yeah, happy to find out what we got going on here.
Behind me is the Great Temple. This is dedicated to Ramses. There are 4 statues of Ramses in front of it. The one starts on the left side for you all as him as a baby, and then it goes all the way until he's an old man. The statue that doesn't have a face, in ancient times there was an earthquake, and so the face fell down, and when they moved this temple to this location, they decided to keep it down because that's how they originally found it. As you walk inside, the first room is dedicated to a war that Ramses II won. So there's a lot of depictions of the battle and what they won. The second room is an offering room, so offering to the gods. And the third room is the sanctuary. What's awesome about the depiction behind me is that the horse has 4 legs on either side, and Ramses has 2 arms for his right arm, and it's supposed to represent strength, but then also motion blur to show how fast he's moving. In the 1960s, they built the high dam over by Aswan, and that was needed because they needed to control the floodwaters, they needed it for electricity, but it also created obviously a huge lake. A lot of the cultural ethnic group that was down here were displaced, and then a lot of temples were also going to be flooded. So in 1964, everyone in the world donated money to move this temple up to where it is now. It just went, I don't know, 200 meters up a hill so that it can be preserved for everybody in the world to see. We're in the second temple now, which is dedicated to Ramses' favorite wife, and then also the goddess Khafre, which is the goddess of beauty and is often symbolized as a cow.